Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my name is Fumani Maluleke, born and raised in Guyana, but now I reside at Johannesburg as a art atelier. I'm an artist. There was no artist at home. Nobody's an artist. I think I'm the first one to be an artist, and then but I kept on hearing some other stories that your cousin is an artist in that fashion of music, so he's a musician. So, but when it comes to painting, drawing, and doing all other stuff, no. So, in this painting and drawing, I think I'm the first artist. There was a competition for cash build. They gave us a mini competition that whoever will draw the wheelbarrow or anything that we're selling at the cash build, they are selling in the cash build, then if you draw it clearly, then you will win something. And your school will have to, the cash build will build, I think it's the 4 classrooms. They will build 4 classrooms for each school that participated and win the awards. So that's where the career started growing in that way. So when we get to grade 10, that's where we choose the subject and change the one that we used to study. And therefore now I take art, and we call it visual art. In our village, it's the only high school that have visual art as a subject from grade 10. It's no longer a creative art from grade 8 and 9, but now it's a visual art. It's a serious match. You must take it serious. We matriculated in the 12th, and then they have to send us to Artist Proof Studio. So Artist Proof Studio, it's a norm, or it's become a culture that each and every year there is students that are coming from my school, my high school, Tomo, where I used to work as well. So like each and every year, Artist Proof Studio, they are expecting students to come from that side, because it's the only village that got arts and visual arts as a subject. When I've enrolled with Artist Proof Studio, first year, before the end of first year, I dropped out because I was not ready to get into to practice other ways of doing art. So I was not ready, and then I felt pressure, because coming from home, my only medium that I was used to, it was pencil. So I felt like now I'm not ready to jump to another one. Then I quit. I dropped out. Then I went back home, and then I'm like, my mom was like, even now she believes that. She asked me, why are you not at school? I told her that school was valid. School closed. So even today it's still closed. So, and one day she sat me down. She's like, now I'm taking your sister to school, varsity. And I'm like, yo. And then I start asking, I'm like, yo, I think I'm ready to go to school as well. I'm ready to go to college, whether it's college. I'm not aiming for university, because I'm a dropout, remember. So even if it's a college, it's fine. So she'd be like, I don't have money. Now I'm budgeting for your young sister. Your turn, you came and you misused it, but now let me focus on her. Cut the story short, we call it, it's my mother. It's a sister of my mother, the big sister of my mother, Mankul. So she's the one who paid for my fees when I come back fully forced to study now so seriously. But now I have to choose, like I'm not going to Joburg, I'm going to Pretoria. because Joburg was not good at first when I enrolled with Artistic Proof Studio. But now let me move to Pretoria and see and try to tackle life in another dimension. When I get there, TNC, Tshwane North College, I've studied there art and graphic design, and in the middle of the process, I became an A student, and to a point that whenever they are advertising on the brooch, when they're advertising arts, they talk about me there. From there, I'm pushing those sales. I'm pushing those 300, 400 pieces prices on the street. At the other side, I'm pushing my career, because remember, my name has dropped, and nobody is buying my work because I was into teachings. And then the clients, audience, database is gone. We were not producing the pieces. So in that case, I had to get people from the streets, like what other brands are doing. Some they're gonna sell cans on the streets, some they're gonna sell their products on the streets, because money is on the streets, to be specific, to be honest with you. So some other people that don't have time to visit galleries, but when you're on the streets, that's where you get it. So now I'm like, because I was pushing the street art, and on the other side I'm pushing my professional art. In my professional art now, I need to, I've raised enough money on the streets to rent the studio for my professional art. You see why I was cooking on the streets and selling on the big galleries. So now I've moved here on this space, because I've been like putting money together to try to stand up as a giant, or as an artist now, fully professionally. Because when I quit education, I told Mama and my wife, I said I'm going to be an artist. So they didn't know or get the vision of artist how. And then when I moved here, I had the mats, the grass mat. You know, in my language, we have this proverb of saying, they say, so it's more like anything that you might have, it's important to you. And the thing that is important to you, it might not be important to me. So when I moved to this place, I've managed to grab the important things, items that I said, these ones I can use. You know, when you're on the journey, it's not everything that you can take in the house, but you take the important and valuable stuff. So for me, I've grabbed the mat, the grass mat as my bed. I move it with my wife and my son. So we used to sleep in this studio here. So one day I was working, and I'm running out of materials because I'm no longer going to the streets. I'm running out of the material, and then I was working on a brown paper. When I was painting there, the paint splitted on the grass mat, because it's just here. It's just more like a mini studio. It splitted on the grass mat. So suddenly the idea, it jammed to my mind, and immediately I took the grass mat, I put on the wall, and I started painting, trying to find what's happening, because if it can stick this way, I didn't know. And I started painting on it, some crazy stuff around. It worked. I even forgot that later I might need that as a bed. So it was challenging. You know, I always tell people that art is a spirit. When it enters you, it drives you. There's no, if now I say, you see I'm relaxing. If now I have the idea of what to paint or what to draw, trust me, after the interview, I'll start breaking the fast. Even if I said I don't want to work, I'll just go there, take my palette, put paint and start painting. Hence, since I've received the clear image that I have to turn into an art so that everyone will see in that way. So I even forgot that later it can become a bed. So my wife, she'd be like, what's next? I'll be like, there's no next here. You see, the mat is gone. Slept on the floor with blankets. We put it there. She'd be like, hey, you are crazy. So that's the time she realized that I'm crazy. All along making decisions, quitting education and running away from home, hide somewhere, trying to build up my career. She didn't see it clear that no, this guy is crazy. But therefore, after that, she'll be like, yo, you're crazy. So if now, for instance, if you can find out or figure out that the paint can stick on the blankets, it means you are finished. So, so anything that the paint can stick on, you go for it. You understand? So I'm like, I think here I've arrived to the point and I found the voice now in that case. So that's where the idea started. And I started painting. And then some clients come, they bought my previous artwork or like the Fabriano paper, and therefore get more money, and I drove back home. By that time I was not having a car, I didn't drive, I just take a bus going back home to source more of the grass mats. And when I get home, that's where the story began. When I get home, talk to my grandmother, I'm like, I need more of the grass mats. You remember, when now you see the grass mat, it tells you the maker of the grass mat. You're not expecting Fumani to make the grass mat. You're expecting Fumani to use the grass mat. At our age, to be specific, our age we use the mat, we don't make them. So there are specific people who make the mats, which is our grandmother. So my mind was like, when I go home, my grandmother, she used to make the grass mat, I'm gonna get more of it. When I get there, she'll be like, why do you want grass mats? I told her, ish. Remember, back home, they don't understand art. My grandmother, to be specific, she'll be like, why do you want grass mats? I'll be like, I want to draw some Popeye there, and I'll make some cartoons. She'll be like, okay. She thought maybe I know the story behind the grass mat. Scary. I'll be like, she thought maybe you knew that you were born on the grass mat. I'll be like, what? She'll be like, I thought you knew the reason you're looking for grass mat. I'll be like, no. I'm at Joburg, I'm painting, so I'm painting these cartoons. I had to break it down to your understanding in a level of cartoons so that you can understand that I'm going to paint things there and houses there. Like, I thought you knew you were born on the grass mat. And that's where I sat down with my mom and said, my granny is telling me something different. What's happening with the grass mat issue? So my mama, she didn't want to tell me about the story. She thought maybe it's so embarrassing and I'll feel like so much embarrassed. And then she told me the story. I'll be like, why didn't tell me? So my question was like, if I was not an artist or if I didn't become an artist, I was not gonna know about the story. What's happening? So she'd be like, the clinic, it was far from home. Remember, in a village around there, like 32 years now, service delivery was very poor, to be specific. And then they have to put clinic. One clinic must be accessed by 6 villages. Do you understand? So they must put in a center whereby anyone or any village might have a way to come easy. So it's far at some point. So the situation happened like that. And I'll be like, oh, okay. But now for me, it gives me joy because now I've discovered my voice. Now I've discovered my purpose in life. The reason I went to Joburg with carrying the mats and out of material and painting on the brown paper, the other side, now the paint splits on the grass mat, now they become my medium, and I'm coming back home to source more. And this story, for me, it's a bomb, but it's a good bomb. Because now I'm starting to digest. I'll be like, okay, really? I said, yeah, tell me the story. I say, I thank you, my grandmother, for telling me the story. So now my grandmother, she plays a very huge role in my life. So before she tells me more about the meds, unfortunately she passed on to join the ancestors, and therefore now I'm buying the grass meds from different grandmothers out there. I believe the grass meds, it represents my grandmother and it represents each and every grandmother out there. Because when we look at the grass med, we associate them with our grandmother. So it's one and the same. So that's the reason when you see my artworks that are here, more of them, they are portrayed of, I've portrayed grandmothers, I've portrayed kids and grandmothers around. And I've portrayed the poles, electric poles. They might in a position of showing the perspective going there. That shows the lineage, you understand, of like getting the information from the grandmother, from my father, my grandfather, grandfather, in that way, going to the lineage. If not the poles, it's poles and the road that goes to the distance there to show that life is a journey. So for me, yes, being born on the grass mat, it was gonna embarrassment that time of early age with my peers around. I'm like, Vele Siagwaran, you're born on a grass mat, those kind of situations. But as for now, I'm a grown-up man. You should have told me this thing. As much as for them it's not important, but for me, it's important to know where I come from. So since now the grass mat, so it's two sides of the story. The grass mat, it was the medium or the surface or the material that was available during that time to usher me to this world. So I did not choose the grass mat. It's another way around. The grass mat chose me. It should have been clinic or something, or bed or blanket, but the grass mat was there to deal with the situation fast. So I used to make jokes of it. I'm like, I wish my mother kept that mat for me, the one that I was born on. But it was a taboo because they can't keep that, remember? Yeah. And then, I started collecting the grass mat, buying from different grandmothers. Sometimes I travel to vendor, I get grass mat from vendor. Sometimes I'm in Zambia, get the grass mat from Zambia. Sometimes Swaziland, like a certain grandmother around two streets away. She's from Swaziland. She brings them from Swaziland. She does the mats. So when I go there, it's a joy from my side to see her with a joyful and helpful smile. You understand? Because when I get there, you find that she's selling on the market, she's selling on the streets, she's selling grass mats, imchanyelo, and even some other stuff like the beads, and she's selling a pen. She's selling pens there with bulk. So then when I get to there, and then I'll tell her, Mama, she's like, yeah, I'm like, how are you? I'm fine. He said, Mama, you know what? I need the grass mats, these ones. He said, Tanam, how much? How many do you want? I said, I want all of them. She'd be like, really? Like, Josie is Josie, can't trust. She'd be like, really? You want all of these? I said, I want all of them. She was happy. I think it was like 12 grass mats. And each, she makes like 300, 400, 300, 400. I said, I want all of them. She was very happy. She was very happy to a point to extend when I said, I collected every mat and I've paid her money. She said, Ntanam, you know what? I'm going now. I'm even packing the stuff. It was around 12 during the day. She was like, I'm packing my stuff now. I'm going home. I'll come back tomorrow and start afresh, start working. I'm like, really, Mom? He said, yeah. She took all the money, put here at her safety place. She put there, and then like, she talks to me while she's packing the stuff, put on the mashangani bag. We call it mashangani bag. Some others, they call it a different way because that bag as well is more like the grass mat. It got its own name depending on where it's in the culture. Like, so in my language, we call it mashangani bag. She put stuff there and then she pack and go. She was very happy. And she'd be like, Ntanam, ngicela ubuye next week ngizoba ngibuyile namacansi la uze uwathenga. You see now, she's happy. So her passion of creating more mats, it's instilled. It's no longer gonna fade away. She got it back. So for me as an artist, buying the grass mat from each different grandmothers and each cultures is to make the economic growth. It's make and create or bring that smile to our grandmothers. Remember, our grandmothers, what they can do the best is to sit down under the tree on a nice shadow, creating the grass mat on a daily basis. So if now we have to let the grass mat lies and being eradicated or vanish, it means we are losing our own story and we are losing our history within. So I take the grass mat as a scroll that was lost. Now I'm bringing it back to the art industry. I've written the information in art language. Yes.